Okay, folks, this is my last What Happened to Your Nose video. The reason I'm making it is not to prove anything to you, but I'm really tired of getting all these DMs and messages and etc. blah, blah, blah. What happened to your nose? I thought you were supposed to have your nose removed. I did 3 times. Sorry about the hair, but I'm doing a grease treatment. It's all I can do. All right, here's what happened. I had a little speck on my nose, a little sore that wouldn't heal. Never got bigger, just a little sore that wouldn't heal for 3 years. Then it went whew, and just started growing like wildfire. Found out it was basal cell carcinoma, the most common cancer and the easiest to cure. Well, they removed it through Mohs surgery, which meant they removed some and checked the edges in the lab and see if there was still cancer, and they'd come back and take more and more and more. And they did it 5 times, 45 minutes between each time, until I had, and I was going to show you pictures, but they'll take this video down, till I had a hole that went out to the side of my cheek over here, like this. You could see up my sinuses and everything. And in order to have a normal looking nose again, I'm going to get closer. I have a scar that runs pretty much from here, up here, and into my hairline, where they found a vein, grabbed the meat, flipped it over, and attached it to the hole so that I would have a living blood supply on that nose. And I remained like that for 2 months. And then they snipped it off. I looked like, and I know if you go further enough back in my videos, you'll see it. It looks like I have another finger hanging off my face. Anyway, so they carved me a nose. Thank you very much. I never had the last procedure done because I wanted to do it in the office, and I'm really scared of not being anesthetized for anything going on my face. So the last procedure, you see how smooth this is here? Let me show you. You see how smooth? It doesn't have this little indentation here like most people have. They were going to make me one in the office. I just never had it done. Then, about a year later, I started having a terribly runny nose and couldn't figure out what was wrong. And they put a scope up my nose and found a tumor. The tumor was located behind my eye and under my brain pan up here. Turned out to be squamous cell carcinoma, which is very rare for it to be internal because it's another type of skin cancer. But it was a big tumor, and they really couldn't reach it and extract it without breaking the bridge of my nose. And they didn't want to do that because then I would have a big gaping hole and have to wear a prosthetic, which I was fine with. I just didn't want to do chemo and all that stuff. But I did chemo 3 times, lost all my hair. It grew back super curly. It shrunk the tumor enough that they could get in there and get it out. That was a 12-hour surgery. While they did that, they slit my throat from here to here, extracted my lymph nodes. Hang on a second, I want to show you something. They also removed a big chunk of meat from my leg. See, the scar goes all the way down to here, which removed my Winnie the Pooh, who used to fly up my thigh with the green balloon. Hold on. And they used that to pad around the bones and the sinuses and stuff to make me a new nose. They also removed a rib bone here. I'd show you the scar, but it's too personal. And put that on the bridge of my nose. And if you can see, I have a little screw coming out of my bridge of my nose from that operation. I have to get that removed. But that, anyway, is what held this rib bone. They padded it with the fat and stuff from my leg. Then they took the nose that they had laid over to this side of my face while they got rid of the tumor. They put it back across all this stuff, and they sewed it back on. Now, if you look closely, you will see my nose is not symmetrical. See this? I don't seem to have one here. See the nostrils? And like I said before, this is not the same as this side, my natural nose. So what I'm saying is, and I've had to since had to have it taken over, I should have said again, and repacked and put back on. So technically this is not my third nose, but my third nose operation, being that this half has always been my natural side and this half has always been surgically altered. I don't know how else to explain it to you guys. It was a 12-hour surgery. They slit my throat and gave me this bubble gullet, took away my Winnie the Pooh, which is supposedly somewhere in my nose. They say by now he's probably faded out. But why are you nagging me about my nose? I honestly thought I was going to have to wear a prosthetic. The fact that I have a nose is a miracle. But, you know, I don't really care for it, even though I'm cancer-free. And everybody says to me, you can't really tell. All I see is disfigurement. Because I didn't look like this to begin with. Okay? So, if I hear it again, what happened to your nose? I thought you were supposed to get it removed. I'm going to block you. I'm going to report it as harassment. Don't fuck with me anymore. I'm sick of it, you know? What happened to your manners? Is that good enough? Thanks.